I don't know why I always get these bright ideas in the middle of the night. But anyway, so the sashing had 10 flying geese, and I did a free form. So these pieces of sashing, adding machine paper, are 12.5 inches long, and they are just a tad over 3 inches, barely, like 3 1/8. So I'm drawing kind of a wavy line for the middle. Okay, so that's our middle. And I know that I have to have 5 this way, and I can adjust this line. That's better. 2. So now I'm just drawing the lines, filling in the lines. So that is our foundation paper piecing. And I start out in the middle. I hold it up to the light, and you won't be able to see it, but I hold it up to the light and make sure that red line is at least 1/4 inch away from the top. And this is right side up because it's the first piece. Okay, the rest of them will be right side down and then flipped once it's sewn. Okay, and now I'm going to take a piece of the background. What I end up doing, because I get confused doing things backwards and upside down, so I just kind of make a mock fold just to make sure that it covers the line. And I can already see through the light that it does cover the line. So then I take it over to the machine. And then I fold it back against the sewing line. And then I have this add 1/4 ruler. It catches on the folded paper, so it trims it down to 1/4 inch for you. And then I flip it over and I give it a finger press, and then I fold it along this line here so I know where I can trim it. Just fold up against that red line. And I know I want it to extend over the edge. So there's the first 2 pieces, and now I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm going to figure out where I think the line is and just fold this back enough so I know that it'll cover the paper. And now I'll flip it over and make sure that it's covering. It is, but I want to scooch it. Okay, now I'm happy with that. Back under the sewing machine. Finger press, and once again I'm going to fold it against this line. Okay, and there is our first piece. And now we're going to do the next one, which is going to be face down. And I know that this line is 1/4 inch away from the seam. I can just put that there. I can trim it down and then flip it and sew it. And now we do the same thing all over again with the side pieces. Okay, there is our second. And it's basically rinse and repeat until you're all the way up to the finish line. And there we have it. Okay, here we are. There is our sashing. And I'm being honest here, I messed up here. I cut that corner off. So I'm going to add a piece. I'm going to find another piece of the fabric and I'm just going to sew it on across the bottom. But there is our sashing. And it's only 10 minutes to 2. So I will come back when I have all the sashing done. Hello there, YouTube! I have the sashings in there. They are the same, well, they're a little bit longer than the blocks, which are 12.5, just so I can trim them down. They're going in opposite directions because they're dizzy geese. I have some strips that were left over from cutting the blocks, and I did 2 of these. They're about 45 inches long, longer than the width of the project, which is perfect. I'm going to be cutting these down in half, sandwich them in between this and this, and I think that will make a nice looking sashing. They are 3.5 roughly. Half of 3.5 is 1.75. And I'm going to go low and slow, take my time so I don't make a mistake. And I think I'm going to cut these down to 1.5 inch strips. Hello YouTube, I am busy sewing together our quilt top, and this is our first block and this is our first sashing. And I wanted to come back in and give you a little handy dandy tip. I deliberately made my sashings a little bit long because I wanted to be able to make sure that, you know, the very edge of the block would line up with the very edge of a goose, if you will. This way, when I sew the 1/4 inch seam across the bottom here, I'll get a nice sharp point right here. So what I've done is I've left a little extra fabric down at the bottom of my sashing so that I can trim off any excess, and that way it'll be nice and even. You can see here that there's a little bit extra. So I'll trim that off and no one will ever know. So that's just a little handy dandy tip that I'm doing, putting together the blocks and the sashing. Okay there YouTube, here we go. Here is the top all done, and yes, the drunk geese are going in opposite directions because, well, you know, and it's plenty big enough, quite big in fact. So the blocks are 12.5 or 12 finished. These should be 3-inch finished, so that's big enough for a recliner chair in the chemo ward. And as I had said earlier, I had made these larger than they needed to be, and I left the excess down here at the bottom because this is still a perfect triangle. Otherwise I would have been cutting off all the points, and I didn't want to do that. So see, the point is matching there, good. And yes, you do have some stubbier triangles, but it's still a good triangle, and the point is still perfect. There you have that YouTube. That wraps up this project of the adding machine tapes. And now I'll spend a couple of hours sitting on the recliner with hubby watching some YouTube, and I will peel all the paper off, and that'll be another one in the books. I still have to obviously back it and quilt it, but that will be for another video. So I do want to thank you so very much for coming along with me on this journey. I want to thank you for watching, and I'd like to ask that you kindly please do subscribe and ring that bell so you get notified when I put up a new video, and give the video a like and leave a comment so I know you were here. And all of that interaction on your part helps YouTube to push my videos out to new people, so please do that, and please do help me. I hope you enjoyed coming along with me on this quilt. It was a lot of fun, and thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you very soon on our next project. So God bless.
Good night, Elizabeth.
Good night, John Boy.